Okay, so I'm going to try to do a rock challenge tonight, and I want to show you a couple things before I do that. The the Clovis points from Texas. There's some in this book here. We call this the Big Red Book. These are samples from Clovis points from Texas, and the Clovis, the last one I just made, is based on the size and flaking characteristics of these points. Okay, just to give you an idea of the size. These are actual size here in the book. It matches pretty closely with that one. The width dimensions are pretty close. So you see there's various styles. And most of these have flutes that are not perfect. Just thinning flakes from the base. And on this one here you can notice that there's some intrusion into the flute. Or into the thinning flake. Let's see. This one here also, probably. Some intrusion into that one. That one looks pretty clean. This one has multiple flakes. Kind of like this one here that I made. You notice I did two main thinning flakes on this one on the base. And this one has multiple flakes also. Looks like several times. One big one first, and then two smaller ones, and then intrusion a little bit onto that thinning flake. Just to give you an idea. These are what real Clovis points look like, at least from Texas. So I've looked at this book many times, and I get my ideas from that one mainly. So that's where I got that from. Just also real quick, I actually write for this magazine. A little self-promotion here. Page 11. That's me right there. So yeah, I write this article every issue of this magazine, Primitive Archer. In case you didn't know. Okay. I've got some stone here from Oregon. It's let's see. I don't think he told me what it was. It's a mix. There's different kinds of chert, maybe some petrified wood. This is some kind of chert. I'm not sure if it's heated. This looks like petrified wood. Obsidian. Various types. I like working this type here. You can see it's kind of a different shade. But yeah, let's try to do a video with some of this stuff. Again, it's chert from Oregon or Northern California, I guess. I don't know what this is, but it reminds me of chert I see from New Mexico, actually. Same with this stuff. Very similar to the stuff I see in New Mexico. Oops. Now I'm going to do some Clovis hafting videos. I did one on the Dalton, but the Clovis is more versatile, I think. There was a lot of different possibilities for hafting, so I'll try to go through as many as I can on an upcoming video. I was thinking that maybe I should make some cordage like this. A friend of mine, Cody Heflin, made this cordage. I think it's dogbane or something similar. But I'm thinking of making cordage a little bit thinner than that. I want some really fine cordage to wrap these with plant fiber cordage, because I think it was wrapped with plant fiber. That's why they ground the edges, because plant fiber is easily cut with sharp edges, especially if it's a very fine cordage. Now if it's a thick cordage like this, or on a thicker side like this here, it's not cut very easily by the edges. You know, you could wrap it around and it won't cut through. If it's really thin and fine though, it will cut through. So that's why I think it was hafted with fine cordage like thread. Okay. Or very fine strands of fiber from rushes or other plants from that time period. I looked up the time period and the plants. A lot of the plants they thought, or they're thinking, were low to the ground, but there were, but they were highly nutritious, and some of the rushes and other plants had high sugar content and stuff, and similar to papyrus. Papyrus is a rush, and it has a very fibrous stalk, and it's got a lot of sugar content, and that's what caused the papyrus paper to stick together. The fibers were loaded with sugar, and you press them together, and when they dry, they stick, and it forms a paper. But anyway, I think that's what they were probably using during the Paleo period, some type of plant fiber that was coated with the natural sugar. That's my theory anyway. The something I didn't realize, or maybe I had known before, but the Native Americans did not have beeswax for hafting because there were no honeybees in the New World until the Europeans came over. Now there were other types of bees, of course, but they didn't do the wax, the beeswax thing. So these Native American points were not hafted with any kind of glue that had beeswax. And conifer trees produce pitch, very good for glue, but in the paleo environment it was like a tundra with very few trees, so there wouldn't have been pine trees, I don't think, for a waterproof glue. But I had to look more into that. Maybe there was something that they could use that was waterproof. But for now I'm thinking that it's just tightly bound plant fiber for the Clovis and other paleo points. Yeah, I think this is heat treated. It's napping really easily. Chert from Oregon. Yeah. But anyway, I just did a quick look through different topics related to Clovis, the plants, the fauna, the weather, the climate. I'm going to try to incorporate all those factors into the hafting video that I'm going to make on Clovis, and then I'll do one on Cody points, and I did one on Dalton. I might do another one on Dalton with natural materials, and then I'll go up the line, into the early archaic, and then so on and so forth, all the way up to present time. That should take up quite a few videos. It's getting kind of late, so I might just do a biface on this one. Oops. Very delicate. I might just do a biface video for this one. There's some quartzite in there. Yeah, might be an issue. Now this one's tougher. Maybe this piece is not heat treated. Yeah, it feels raw. Again, this is from Duncan, right? Let me make sure here. Yeah, just want to say thank you if you're watching. It's been a while, yeah, I know, but finally getting around to this one. Some of that is easier to nap than other parts. So yeah, when it reaches 30 minutes, I'll just finish it up tomorrow. I gotta go to sleep. Some of this is really easy to nap, like this right here, but this section was really tough. So maybe it is heat treated also. It's just, it has different consistencies in it. Obsidian, you guys know about that. I've done several obsidian videos. Let's see, I'm curious about this piece of petrified wood, I guess. Looks like it might shatter as soon as I hit it. I'm kind of hesitating. Yeah, it looks heat treated. I can make a nice, very small point out of that. Kind of translucent. Some excellent colors in there. Yeah, beautiful. You can make little gem points out of that stuff. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I know I've had some requests to do some very small points from small flakes. Those are kind of hard to do on video. They're hit or miss. It's more difficult to keep those intact. You've got to have a lot of patience for those, because it's so easy to snap them in half or whatever. The very small points. One false move and it could snap it in half easy. There's a nice flake too I can do something with. Yeah, Yeah, so instead of doing one out of this, since I've done several Chert videos, I think I might just pick up one of these small flakes from this piece and make a little gem point. Now, if the middle of this was solid, that'd be nice too. It looks like I've got a seam right there. Got a crack going that way. Yeah. I'm just trying to see where I can strike off some questionable areas. There's some really weird cracks in here. Might be able to do something with these. Alright, so I'll save this. See this little batch. See what I can do. See what this looks like. Mostly chalky material. Very thin layer of chert, looks like. Well, I guess it goes down into, you can see some of it right there. Yeah, it does go further down in. Very small though. I'm trying to expose more of the actual chert so I can strike on it. Might be able to get a flake that's the size of that face. Trying to swing so I don't hit the camera. So didn't do much good. It's nice shirt though. I mean, if I had a big piece, I could do something with it. It's a little bit tough. I mean, the Cortex is always going to be difficult to nap through, but it seems a little tough, the Chert itself. It's not a glassy type of Chert. Yeah, the Chert's very dense, very tough. Yeah, so I could do something with that. And if I didn't have the metal tools, it would be hard to get that biface out of there. If I was using only antler or hammerstone, that would have been really, really hard to get biface down. But yeah, I could do something with that. Let's see. All right, I'll go back to this. Yeah, that little yellow piece. Yellow is a rare color, well, for me anyway, around here in the West. A lot of points were made from it, though, so they must have gone to some very popular quarries to get the yellow Chert. So yellow's my favorite, that's why I mentioned it. So yeah, I could probably do something with that. Or otherwise, I probably wouldn't work it because it's kind of tough. All right. And you know, Native Americans like yellow too. I'm not sure they went out of their way to get it, but they sure did work a lot of it. I was looking through some of my old videos, and some of those older videos have better quality than this one here, or these latest ones with this camera. So I hope you're not too disappointed in this quality. I need to fix that soon. And, you know, in the older videos, I'm able to zoom in way closer. This one I got to keep it kind of far away. And I tend to wander up to the camera, and then it gets blurry. And probably right when you need to see something happen. There's a few issues in there, kind of brittle and fractured. I was trying to make a video earlier with some really tough and brittle material also. It didn't work out too well. And I don't remember where the other stuff was from. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get through all these rock challenges. Most of the challenges are with rock that's going to be quite brittle, quite tough. I was looking through some of it. There's one that's coming up probably tomorrow or the day after with some quartzite. We'll see how that works out. Maybe I shouldn't have mentioned it already because it might not work out. But yeah, I've got quartzite and various cherts coming up, plus the hafting videos. So that should keep me busy for about a month. These rock challenge and hafting videos, I want to get those out of the way. I've got a lot of other projects too that I'm very far behind on. I got to make some bows, some knives. I haven't been able to make a good bow in years. I guess I go through periods where I go into a slump or something, but it's also because I need to get into the zone. If I go back into making bows, I forget how to flint knap. And then once I get into the groove again of using the bow making tools and all that, I got to switch back into making arrowheads again. And then I forget, or I get rusty on my bow making. Plus I threw out a bunch of target materials and a bunch of other stuff that I had set up to shoot arrows. I threw that all away when I cleaned up the yard a few months ago. Let's see. Yeah, right after the or as soon as the weather warmed up, I cleaned out a lot of my stuff. Anyway, I gotta set that up again. Alright, it's getting close to the time. It's 28 minutes. But yeah, eventually I do want to get a lot of stuff on video that's not necessarily napping, but related skills, related primitive skills. And I've said that before on other videos, and I just haven't done it. It's hard for me to transition from one skill to the next and make good quality stuff. I mean, I can transition and make crappy stuff, but it's hard to transition and make good stuff. Yeah, I'll probably do the knives first. And I got to get into working some leather, making some sheaths for the knives. I don't think I've made any videos on leather working. Okay, so yeah, I can probably do something with this piece. Some of it's easy to nap, some of it isn't, but overall it's not too bad. So yeah, now with the preliminary bifacing done, I can thin it down some more. And then, put some notches or some sort of stem on it. I have to look to see what types of arrowheads are available for Oregon. Okay. Alright, so I'll finish this up tomorrow.